final last year. Raiders won the toss. Ball is kicked off by Mike Hollis of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Napoleon Kaufman takes it and gets it out to about the 20-yard line. Coverage downfield by Tom McManus, number 55 of Jacksonville, and the first meeting ever between Oakland and Jacksonville, the Raiders home opener for '96, gets underway. Oakland with the football first. As Bob GOLIC mentioned, Jeff Hostetler operating behind this offensive line. They have had difficulty protecting Billy Joe Hobart at quarterback. Tim Brown remains the mainstay in the Raider offense, and the primary target for Hostetler as Jeff sees his first action of 1996. And the give is to Harvey Williams. He's gotten off to a slow start this season, averaging only 3.1 yards per carry. John Yurkovich, free agent from Green Bay, makes the stop in the middle for Jacksonville.
You know, this team, one of the things they needed to do in the offseason was to upgrade their offensive line. They suffered a lot of injuries last year. They went out, they did it. They got Charles McRae from Tampa Bay. They got Pat Harlow from New England. They got Lincoln Kennedy from Atlanta. Here are guys that hopefully will give them some protection and keep Hostetler healthy.
You caught the graphic running down the defensive starters for the Jaguars. On second down, Hostetler's first regular season throw of '96 is complete to the rookie tight end Ricky Dudley. And Dudley is close to the 30-yard line, but about a yard or two short of the first down. It'll be third and short for the Raiders, and Hostetler, Brian Schwartz, number 58, making the stop at middle linebacker.
And Ricky Dudley, talk about a draft choice that they're hoping for an immediate impact from. They're saying that they haven't had an impact tight end since the Dave Casper, Todd Christensen, guys who really could affect the outcome of a game. Nothing against Andrew Glover and some of these guys, but they feel that he is a big play guy.
Third down one. Harvey Williams in the game at tailback, gets the call, and moves forward behind the right side of the Raider offensive line. Gogan and Kennedy trying to make a crease. Travis Davis comes up from strong safety to make the stop, and the crowd celebrates an Oakland first down.
And one of the interesting situations there, they had Jerry Ball in the backfield, doing a little lead blocking in the running game. So, the Raiders really kind of setting themselves up for this game. They've got to get the running game going. If they can get the running game going, the defense won't be able to just lay their ears back and go after Hostetler. They've got to get Harvey. They've got to get Nap Kaufman, get some yardage.
325-pound Jerry Bowling Ball blocking on that play, and there's the completion from Hostetler to James Jett. Chris Hudson, the free safety, makes the stop, but Hostetler starts off 2 for 2.
And we got a flag over there in the back in the backfield. It looked like one of the defenders had come up against Derek Fenner in the backfield. It looked like there might have been a holding call.
Red Cashin refereeing for the last time around this year in the National Football League.
Holding, number 99 on the defense.
I got a hug from him down there. I was on the
announced his plans to retire after this year. Heck of a guy, right?
I saw him and I told him, I said, the farewell tour? He goes, yeah, that's it.
Overhead look at this Coliseum, which is, about 10 or 15,000 ticket sales short of being full today. We welcome those of you who have been watching Green Bay's impressive destruction of the San Diego Chargers. Final score 42-10. Jim Lampley and Bob GOLIC with you in Oakland, where Napoleon Kaufman carries the football on first down for the Raiders and gets it out to about the Oakland 39. Brian Schwartz on the tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. First meeting ever between the two teams. Home opener for the 0-2 Raiders, who have an 8-game losing streak going back to midseason last year.
And as you said, this is the first time that a lot of these guys have ever played in Oakland Stadium. There's only, the PR guys told us yesterday, there's only 2 players on the Jag team that have played here. Natron Means when he's in San Diego, and Leon Searcy in Pittsburgh.
Pick up of about 3 on first down. It's second down 7. Jacksonville in its base defense. Schwartz looking for a crease up the middle. Hostetler with the quick release, and it's dropped by Jett. Jeff Lageman and Mickey Washington on the coverage for the Jaguars.
You know, that's part of the problem they've been having. You're seeing that if you look at the Raiders and what they've done, they've put up some pretty nice numbers. Even in their big loss against Kansas City last week, they've had some yardage in the passing game and in the running game. But the problem was situations like that, big plays when you needed a first down, you needed a catch, they're not making them.
So it's third down now. Call it 3rd and 8. Football at the 48. Marker stretches to the 46. Jaguars showing blitz again and may have jumped offside. Flags down as Hostetler completes in the flat to number 80, Darrell Hobbs. And the speedster from Pacific has first down yardage before Vinnie Clark makes the stop. It's a 13-yard pickup. And now the Raiders will probably have their choice between the penalty and the play, and will take the play.
You know, when you talk about Hostetler coming back, we talk about his leadership, you talk about his ability to throw, things like that. Hey, there's some veteran guile there in holding on and giving the long snap count, making the guys jump. Right there, you saw a veteran quarterback at work.
Hostetler's edges at this stage of his career are mental and emotional. The intangibles are what Raider players talk about, and they talk about the difference of playing with Jeff as opposed to Billy Joe Hobart, his backup. So the Raiders move the ball across midfield on the 13-yard completion. And the pitch to Harvey Williams. Williams dragged down as he goes around the outside, and Brian Schwartz, terrific run-stopping middle linebackers again there for the Jaguars.
Without a doubt, and looks like he's going to get, if the Raiders have their game plan, it looks like Schwartz is going to be a big part of it. They're going to try and attack. They want to get the running game going, whether it be Harvey Williams, who I'm sure they'd love to have get off and have a good day, but they're also talking about using Knapp Kaufman a little bit more, and Schwartz is the guy that's going to be called on to get up into the line and make those stops.
4-yard gain on first down. It's 2nd and 6 at the Jacksonville 45. Again, Williams with the football. Williams with only 25 carries in the first 2 games. Gets a handful on this opening series. Yurkovich and Travis Davis there to make the stop for the Jags.
Yeah, good play up front. And if they're not going to make the Jaguars, they don't have a very dominant defensive line in the running game. They're not real big. Yurkovich is at about 295. Lageman's at about 270. You've got Davey at like 270, Schminke at about 270. So they're not a huge defensive line, especially working up against an O-line in the 3.5, 3.10, 3.15 range.
Third down, 3 yards to go for the first down. Football is at the 42. They need to get it to the 39. Hostetler down the middle, picked off. Number 27, Vinnie Clark with the football, fumbles it, but the white jerseys are on top of it, so it will be a turnover by the Raiders. Jacksonville football at the Jaguars' 41-yard line. It was Kevin Hardy who got on top of the ball after Vinnie Clark coughed it up. And Clark celebrates the interception.
Well, the throw was to Ricky Dudley. You'll see here on the right side of your screen, Haas is going to lay the ball up. Hey, you got a tall tight end. Lay it up. Make him work for it. Bounces off. He felt some of the pressure coming into him, right off into Vinnie Clark's hands.
So thus ends the first home Raider possession of the 1996 season. And the Jaguars now will set up to operate offensively from their 41-yard line. Under center, number 8, Mark Brunell, one of the hottest young quarterbacks in the National Football League. The new Steve Young. Brunell checking off on first down. The fake to James Stewart. The throw is complete. Number 83, Pete Mitchell, makes the catch. Lorenzo Lynch with the tackle at strong safety, and incomplete. They say that Mitchell wasn't able to hold on, so it'll be 2nd down 10 from the 41. Quick look at the Jacksonville offensive line. The bookend tackles, Baselli and Searcy, potentially as good as any pair in the league. Brunell's receivers, Andre Rison and Keenan McCardle, both played in Cleveland last year. Remember Cleveland, Bob?
Don't rub it in, Jim.
On 2nd down 10, the give is to James Stewart, the second-year running back out of the University of Tennessee. Has a gain of about 6 before Lynch makes the stop. And now quickly let's take a look at the starters for the Raiders on defense. fast pass rushers on the outside in Smith and Swilling. Chester McLaughlin, a huge run stopper in the middle. Russell Maryland, one of the two big free agents to come over from Dallas. The other, Larry Brown, the cornerback and Super Bowl MVP, unable so far to oust Albert Lewis from the starting job at right corner. Lewis, age 35, still holding on to that gig. Third down 4 with the football at the 47. Plenty of time for Brunell. Now he pulls it down and won't make it to the chain. Good open field stop by McLaughlin. Blunts the Jacksonville possession.
Well, we saw why they draw the comparison to Steve Young. First play, he has a little short rollout with the throw. Here you see as good awareness of seeing open opportunities to run with the ball. If they can force him to pull the ball down and run, but keep his yardage below 30, 40 yards, they should be okay.
Brian Barker comes on to kick it away for Jacksonville, kicking to one of the most dangerous punt returners in the league, Tim Brown, who waits at his 12-yard line. High kick, a little short. Brown coughs it up. Free ball at the 22-yard line after the 31-yard punt by Barker, and let's see if Jacksonville has collected its second turnover of the game.
Well, you don't see that often with Timmy Brown. He has some of the surest hands you will ever see in this league.
That ball hung up for a long time, but the Raiders are able to cover it. So Hostetler comes on to lead the possession for Oakland, and Tim Brown sighs after the near miss.
And the bad thing is here, he had a guy about 5 yards in front of him. You know, it's very difficult. We talked to Chris Hudson of the Jacksonville Jaguars about punt returns yesterday. He said it is very difficult to stay focused just on the ball. He goes, you almost have to have this open vision where you can sense bodies around you. That time, Timmy Brown sensing a defender right in his face about 5 yards from him, and must have just broken the concentration enough to have him drop it.
And it was reserve linebacker Paul Butcher in his 10th year as a special teams worker bee who got on top of the football to keep it for Oakland. On first down, Hostetler throws, complete to Jet, and Jet with a little running room across the 35 has a pickup of 13 yards and a rate of first down. Don Davey, number 92, upfield to make the stop for Jacksonville.
But one of the keys here that we're seeing is that Jet is a deep threat with his speed. Same with, well, Tim Brown, they're not going to get him deep, but Jet will go deep. Mickey Washington gave him way too much room up in the corner, and when the ball was completed, he wasn't close enough to come in and make the reaction and make the tackle. Jet had plenty of room to make a move and get the extra yardage.
Jet showed tremendous potential in '93, hasn't really fulfilled it in the past couple of years. If Hostetler can develop a relationship with him, he'll take some of the pressure off Tim Brown. Here, Harvey Williams on first down has a gain of maybe a yard before Lageman makes the stop for Jacksonville. It'll be second and long.
Well, I'll tell you what, great play defensively for the Jaguars. They anticipated, they must be looking at the formations, anticipating some plays. They rotated their linebackers over to that side of the ball where the Raiders ran, kind of shifted the defensive backs to the backside to cover for them. Good play defensively.
Lageman, one of 10 Jacksonville players to have been drafted in the first round. He was the first pick of the Jets back in 1989. Jacksonville showing blitz on second and long. Here they come. Kevin Hardy trying to get in there. The throw is complete to Derek Benner, the fullback, who asked for more action with the ball this week and got it there.
Well, Derek Benner was a great acquisition by the Raiders. They picked him up from Seattle, and I loved what he did up there when he worked in Seattle, doing the same thing down here. A workhorse, he blocks, but he's very good at getting that short pass, and he has the side and some speed to pick up some yardage and run over some defenders. Plus, a great play by Hostetler to get out of the pocket as he saw both inside linebackers making the blitz up the middle.
Gain of 6. It will be third down, 3 yards to go. Football at the Oakland 43. Single setback behind Hostetler is Harvey Williams. Incomplete as he tried to go to Darrell Hobbs for the first down, and the excellent free safety of the Jaguars, Chris Hudson, broke it up.
Right, we talked to Hudson yesterday a little bit, and very excited about this game. He knew that he had some competition in not just in Jet and in Hobbs, some guys that are fast, but also in having to be able to react up and make a play on a guy like Tim Brown, who catches the ball so well short, but then runs after the catch.
Gossett not only with the 43.8 gross average, 41.6 net. Very good, one of the highest in the league. Hudson had a 46-yard return last week against the Oilers. High kick by Gossett. Good coverage downfield. Hudson falls for and makes the fair catch inside his 15-yard line. 43-yard punt. Jacksonville's second possession coming when we return. Back live in Oakland, where to borrow from the words of Mao Zedong, the Raiders live in interesting times. Longest franchise losing streak in 3.5 decades.
But didn't Nietzsche say what is time?
I think he did, and I think he was talking about the NFL when he said it too. First down for Jacksonville. Brunell throws down the middle. Complete to number 87, Keenan McCardell. McCardell's 14th catch of the season. He's second in the AFC coming into today. Cast-off safety Darren Carrington. A year ago, he was a Jaguar. Makes the stop for Oakland. He's wearing number 21 for the silver and black.
And McCardell, you look at the numbers here. This guy came from Cleveland amongst some other, you had guys like Michael Jackson, Andre Rison, who is a teammate of his now, but he was one of the most sure-handed catchers, receivers that they had on that team, and now the Jags are using him to their advantage.
3 wide for Jacksonville. Pete Mitchell, the tight end, in motion. Brunell throws to Mitchell, and it's complete. Down the middle to the 43-yard line, a 17-yard pickup. So in 2 plays, the Jaguars zip 30 yards to get into good field position as they start this offensive thrust.
Yeah, and they had some good rush up the middle. Russell Maryland getting to Brunell's face, but Pete Mitchell, here's a guy that works very well. You're going to see, as you see the route forming up here, breaking to the inside, and number 83, Pete Mitchell, as they had split him out a little bit, he works very good in zones. Not so much in man-to-man, but zone coverage, he has a knack for finding those gaps.
Brunell, as he's dropped, flips the ball over the head of James Stewart. Chester McLaughlin, regarded by many as unblockable in the middle for Oakland, was on top of Brunell.
And not only that, he was looking to dump it off into the flat as a screen pass, but both Greg Beekert and one of the fastest linebackers they have, Mike Jones, out there read the play very, very well to get into the receiver's face.
Scores of other games at the bottom of your screen. Most impressive performance in the league today, almost certainly that of the Green Bay Packers. Brett Favre and company taking apart the Chargers, who had gone into Lambeau Field with 2 impressive wins under their belt. On second down, Brunell throws complete to number 82, Jimmy Smith, the 4th-year receiver out of Jackson State. Has a gain of 16 before number 24, Larry Brown, performing as the nickelback for the Raiders, makes the stop.
Yeah, and we talked about Larry Brown. This guy they brought in after the MVP performance in the Super Bowl last year, multi-million-dollar contract signing, but hasn't been able to really crack. A lot of people complain, say he hasn't been able to crack the lineup. He has suffered with a foot injury that's been progressively getting worse for the last 7 weeks or so. Now is starting to actually recoup where he can get out and play, at least on nickel coverage.
And as Brown goes back to the sideline, apparently still bothered by the injured foot, Albert Lewis keeps the cornerback job ahead of him on the right side. Brunell's throw is incomplete over the head of Lachey Maston, the fullback.
Well, you got to say, even with Brunell, even though he has earned this spot, he took it over from Steve Berline last year. He had my old roommate from the Raider days.
Berline was.
Why they put a lineman, I guess, being both Notre Dame guys.
Had some fascinating conversations about Al Davis with your roommate, Steve Berline.
Well, he has,
the two of them such close personal friends. More on that later. Second down 10 for Jacksonville as Brunell operates from the Oakland 39. James Stewart steps forward to get the play call from Brunell and then takes the football, tries to break a tackle, but number 56, Pat Swilling, held his ground.
Good for Swilling. When they saw him coming, you talk about a guy that really had, if you want to call it a comeback here, really has emerged back onto the scene. Swilling was incredible in the pass rush game last year. Now he's showing that not only can he rush the passer, but he is damn good against the run.
Maybe the smallest defensive end in the league at 245 pounds listed, going against the league's heaviest offensive line. The Jaguars averaged 316 across the front. Third down 10. Brunell down the middle. Oh! Almost a spectacular play on the ball by Jimmy Smith. It was Lorenzo Lynch who just barely missed the interception. And as the Jaguars go off, we welcome those of you who have been watching the Miami Dolphins defeating the New York Jets 36-27 here in Oakland. Raiders home opener against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is scoreless in the first period.
A great play, and that's what you want from a safety. Lorenzo Lynch coming in late to make the play on the ball, but Jimmy Smith, almost that Lynn Swan type of catch, laying on the ground, making a second effort.
Brian Barker's first punt was momentarily fumbled by Tim Brown before Paul Butcher recovered it. This time Brown makes a safer play, the fair catch, 28-yard punt. Raiders will be starting on offense for their third possession at their 12-yard line. Snoopy, a big football fan, figuratively, not literally, is enjoying today's game featuring the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Oakland Raiders. Snoopy, Bob, will co-pilot the MetLife blimp above NFL football games throughout the season, which may or may not affect our decision as to whether to take the complimentary ride in the blimp, right? Maybe we could go up when...
You can just see him up there going, let me drive. Come on, let me drive.
Woof. First down Raiders from the 12-yard line. Hostetler wants to go deep and unloads to an open space on the sideline. Good coverage by the Jag.
Great protection. This is what the Raiders have been trying to do, is get some protection up front. As you see the first two possessions, starting at their own 20 and their own 23. This has kind of been the nature of the Raider team, especially last week against Kansas City. Able to move the ball a little bit. They get some yardage, but not in a position to score or make the big play.
Jeff Hostetler completed his first two throws of the 1996 regular season, but since has thrown his first interception. And you saw the numbers, 4 of 8 for 39 yards. Second down, and to give us to Fenner. Fenner with a gain of maybe a couple as he tries to create some room for the Raider offense. Kevin Hardy gets his first call of the day, making the tackle from his strong side linebacker position.
Well, I tell you what, good thing he snuck up from behind. He kind of like trailed behind, because Kevin Gogan was leading the way at 6'7", 325. And didn't want to be in front of him, but Hardy is a guy that right away, you ask about a rookie going in and starting and taking the starting job. They say he does it all. He can pass rush. His run game is incredible, even at this point.
Second overall pick in the draft. Jacksonville coach Tom Coughlin saying last year's draft was for offense, this year for defense. Third down, 9 yards to go. They credited Fenner with 1. Hostetler flips it. Ricky Dudley, the rookie tight end, Oakland's #1 draft choice, stretching dangerously with the football to try to get the first down. Dave Thomas, the nickelback, makes the stop. It's a 10-yard pickup, and Dudley earns the applause of the fans by moving the chain.
But we'll probably earn a discussion with some of the coaches tomorrow about laying that ball out so dangerously.
And it looks as though a penalty is going to bring the play back. Nope.
You know, you like to have a guy aggressive and fighting for the extra yardage, but you're way down in your own territory. You're a young guy, and I think coaches were probably, their hearts just stopped, just briefly, as he laid that ball out there on the hard dirt of the infield.
It will be an interesting discussion during film tomorrow, though, because he can say, hey, wait a minute, I got the first down at a time when we were struggling for working room there.
Believe me, coaches will find a way to bring that up.
Could be the last series of the first quarter, minute and 22 remaining on first down. Mickey Washington covering as James Jett has his third catch of the first period.
And he's getting these catches against Mickey Washington. Washington, it looks like he's really respecting James Jett's speed just a little bit too much. Way too much cushion, nowhere near James Jett when he's getting the catch, and just having to react and chase and make the play late.
10-yard gain, and as you can see, Cashin's crew stretches to find out if he made it. First down. So Hostetler and the Raiders carve out 2 first downs in this possession. 1 minute 6 seconds still remaining in period number 1. James Jett, 33 catches in his rookie free agent year, 1993, and then unable to develop a consistent relationship with the quarterback.
You know, when he had the good numbers, Vince Evans, who was the backup quarterback at the time, was getting a lot of starting job because of injuries. It seemed like Vince Evans and James Jett had a pretty good relationship, and I think that's where a lot of the balls that were thrown to him came from.
Raiders operating on first down from the 35. Derek Finner is now flanked out as a receiver. Unusual blocking scheme gives Hostetler a lot of time, and he elects not to release the football. Finally dragged down by Yurkovich, and they'll credit Yurkovich with a sack.
Well, I was going to say, here's John Yurkovich, a big inside. He's a nose tackle. And all of a sudden you see him, they run a game, he ends up on the outside rushing. I'm going, he's up against guys that he shouldn't be rushing against. Hostetler's showing great movement coming off this knee injury. We thought he might be tentative, but with no receivers, Yurkovich being able to chase him down and jump on him from behind.
It rained this morning here, and for a while you had the specter of Hostetler coming back from the bad knee, trying to play on a potentially sloppy field, but as it turns out, the turf looks okay. Second down, 14 yards to go. Give us to Harvey Williams. Joel Smengi makes the stop for the Jaguars. End of the quarter coming, and there's no score in Oakland, where the Raiders are hoping to snap an 8-game losing streak that stretches over 2 seasons, and the Jaguars hope to continue to stamp themselves as a possible surprise. 8 Raiders in the Professional Football Hall of Fame, and you can see there, back in 1961-62, the Raiders lost 19 games in a row. It's the last time they've had a losing streak as long as this one. Flag goes down as Hostetler is down in the grasp of Jacksonville tacklers, but Haas flips the ball to Harvey Williams. Flag is picked up. No penalty.
Nope,
they're going to give it a penalty. Okay.
Well, I did see Logman making a nice rush on the outside, and he ended up being kind of corralled by Pat Harlow, but I think the refs actually saw something inside also with Gogan.
This is the second or third time that Red Cashin's crew has managed to cross me up on penalty calls, and I blame me, not them.
Hey, it's his last year, man. Leave him alone.
I know. I think he's doing great.
Man.
I'm the one who's all messed up here, but what the heck? We'll work it out.
Well, I mean, this has been one of the problems with the Raiders. When they fall apart, when they don't do well, it's turnovers, and we've seen games where they've had 20, 21, 22 penalties. They've been able to avoid that in the last couple games. They just haven't been able to put any points on the board.
Well, but the history was, in the old days, when the Raiders customarily led the league in penalties, they were penalties of aggression.
Of aggression, exactly.
Recently, they've been mental errors. And now, they measure to see whether Oakland picked up a first down, but it's hard to tell whether a penalty has been called or not.
Well, I think they wanted to determine if it was a holding penalty, they wanted to determine take it or not, find out how far back they'll be setting the Raiders.
Well, I mean, what would you do? Second one or first and 20? I don't know. How tough a call was that?
Yeah, but it was on Harlow. He was up against Jeff Loggeman, and Loggeman with a sweet jump on the ball. He got off quick, beat Harlow to the corner, and as he went past, got a hand actually on Hostetler, but Harlow decided, you know what, he ain't touching my quarterback.
Harlow, the former Patriots #1 out of Southern Cal, picked up in a trade with New England this year, forced to step in at left tackle. The book around the league is that Pat is a right tackle, but not a left tackle. Third down now. Hostetler gives to Harvey Williams on third and exceptionally long. And Williams gets it across the 35 before Chris Hudson makes the stop, but...
And here's a problem with the Raider running game.
Interesting.
Here they try and run. Obviously, they want to make it look like a pass, but they have in the past been a power running game. You line up, you go after people. Now and this is an indication, although it was a draw, it's also an indication that their running game has been based on finesse. They've set it up by formation, by spreading people out, by trying to get linebackers to maybe scoot out a little bit, clear things up, instead of just lining up and going after people.
So it becomes 4th down 7 with the football at the 37. Chris Hudson deep to receive Gossett's second punt of the game. Gossett hangs it high. And Hudson makes the fair catch at the 15-yard line.
That was close.
Kind of a phantom fair catch signal there, huh? 48-yard punt by Gossett. No return on the fair catch. Jacksonville ball when we come back. Skies emerging, cloud cover disappearing here in Oakland, where the Raiders and Jacksonville are locked in a scoreless game early in the second quarter. A couple of fundamental play-by-play errors early by Lampley, but we'll work that part out. And Bob, your former team not yet playing with the kind of obvious fire that you might have expected as they try to eliminate the losing streak.
True, but they're also not down. In talking to these guys, both kind of on the record and off the record, they seemed very comfortable yesterday. They seemed very excited about getting in and playing. 0-2 at the beginning of the season. Right now, maybe things haven't been as tense in the locker room as I think a lot of people had thought it might be.
Last week, they lose to the Chiefs for the 13th time in 14 games, and Mike White says, "I saw good things. Team was improved." Give is to Stewart on first down for Jacksonville. Good run stoppage by the Raider defense. Lorenzo Lynch from strong safety and others there to make the stop.
Yeah, because I had a chance to talk to Al Davis before the game, which I'm surprised he would talk to me. And
really?
He actually told me, he goes, "Don't be afraid." He goes, "You are actually one of the few people who come up to me before the game and talk to me."
That was before the game.
That was before the game.
Because if they don't play well, it could be your fault.
But he did make the point that he goes, we should have won the Baltimore game. The KC game, he goes, you know as well as anybody, anything can happen in Kansas City.
Second down 9, Raider blitz. Brunell sidesteps it and throws the football away. The athletic talent of Mark Brunell saving a big loss there as Mike Jones came free on the blitz.
Boy, did he come free. From the backside, and you see the guy's speed as he get a short roll out by Brunell. Look at the speed of Jones. Just got to focus. He will definitely be chastised in meetings for that, but at least gets him off his rhythm. That's their goal coming into this. They don't want to let Brunell sit and get a rhythm going with the receivers. He's not a guy that's going to run and throw well on the run. If he runs, he's going to run to get yardage.
Boselli, the fabulous left tackle for Jacksonville, was occupied with Pat Swilling, and Mike Jones went right on by. So it's third down 9 now for Brunell and the Jags, and Brunell goes to Red Cashin and asks for time. We've got 12 minutes, 40 seconds remaining before halftime. Scoreless game in Oakland. We'll be back. With 12:34 to go before halftime, and a scoreless game in Oakland face third down, 9 yards to go from their 16-yard line. A look at offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride, formerly of the Houston Oilers during the Buddy Ryan regime. Who can forget that?
You call fights. How would you call that?
That was a no contest.
Okay.
Brunell on 3rd and 9, operating out of the gun, under pressure, releases. Pete Mitchell may or may not be credited with a catch. Raider defenders say no, including Rob Fredrickson, but the officials are going to credit him with a catch.
Right, side judge has given this indication that it was a catch, and good pressure up front. They had a couple of games on, ended up with Andre Bruce right up in his face with a nice shot on him, but good points. That's one of the things that they felt. As I said, they got to get to Brunell. They can't let him set and get a rhythm with the receivers, and Pete Mitchell is going to be, surrounded by defenders, hit by Bruce at the end, but still gets a nice, very hard thrown ball.
Fredrickson made the tackle, but Jacksonville picked up the first down. We haven't seen Natron Haynes enter the game yet at tailback. It's still James Stewart handling the running load for the Jaguars. Here he gets nothing as Mike Jones, the 6th-year outside linebacker out of Missouri, makes the stop.
Yeah, Stewart, when we talked to him, and we asked him, he said, well, what did you think when they brought Natron in? He goes, well, I wasn't sure. He was a little nervous about it. I mean, you're bringing a guy with the reputation of Natron, but the reality is he found out that they are different style runners. Natron, the power guy that is going to bust through some holes. Stewart, a little bit quicker, a little more explosive.
There's Nate, coming back from torn ligaments in the thumb, expected to play today. On 2nd down long, Brunell down the sideline. Over Andre Rison, who was double covered in Oakland territory. Carrington and Lewis there for the silver and black.
Great defensive play by Albert Lewis. And if you want to say, hey, Albert's in his 14th year, he's lost a step. Well, he has Rison all the way down the sideline. played him very, very well.
Class player, class guy, Albert Lewis.
I mean, and he's tall, he's rangy, he can get up there, he can get physical, but played Rison very well with great coverage over the top by Darren Carrington.
3rd down 10. Football at the 28. Stewart fighting to get to the chain. He's across the 35. I think he'll be about a yard short. Mike Jones again with the stop for the Raiders.
Well, they got lucky. The Raiders defense got lucky that time that Mike Jones was there to aggressively chase down that play and make the stop, because they were screwing around a little bit trying to get guys in position, guys covering some motion, linebacker switch inside. They were not ready to go and play the run when that ball was snapped.
Barker's 3rd punt upcoming. Room to work with this and try to get some numbers back into his average. Brown takes the low kick just inside his 30 and gets it out to about the 34. 35-yard punt, 7-yard return. Tom McManus on the tackle. Raider football with 10:54 to go before the half, and the second extracurricular skirmish of the early game. We'll be back to the Raiders home opener for 96 right after this. Back live in Oakland. Raiders ready to begin possession again from the 34-yard line. Just under 11 minutes left in the first half. No score. First ever meeting between the Raiders and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars come in at 1-1. Raiders are one of 10 teams in the league to have started 0-2. Hostetler on first down. Completes to Jet. And Jet, with yet another catch, is across midfield into Jacksonville territory on a 20-yard pickup.
Great acceleration by Jet once he got that ball. Those little short throws with the run are usually reserved for Timmy Brown. Jet's usually the long guy. As now the Raiders are going to no huddle, they say, we want to get some momentum going here. We got the first down. Let's keep it going, guys. Although Tim Brown's on the bottom going, I don't hear the play.
Brown runs a quick route, and Hostetler overthrows Jet wide open inside the 10. Vinnie Clark was beaten on the coverage, and that's the man they want to go at.
Without a doubt, they want to pick on Vinnie Clark today. Some of the reports you're going to see here on the left side of your screen, the route was taken inside. You didn't see that part, but then he turned upfield, took it down to the end zone. Vinnie Clark getting caught up and not able to catch up. They feel that he doesn't have the acceleration power to really catch up with the receivers and make the play.
So going with the no huddle and the audible call, Hostetler had the match he wanted, just not sharp enough to put it on Jet's hands. This time the catch is made by Darrell Hobbs, and Hobbs, after a gain of about 6, is upended by Clark. They throw over Clark, and then they work underneath him.
That's right. Going in, they wanted to do two things game plan-wise. Run the ball, establish a run, and also get the short pass game going enough to pick up the first downs. They're doing that, but also now they're realizing if we do that, we're still not getting down to the end zone, getting a scoring position. Let's change some things up.
3rd down 4 at the 39, still in the no huddle. Give is to Harvey Williams, and the Jacksonville defensive line responds well. Don Davey, number 92, the journeyman, free agent out of Green Bay, there to make the stop. Crowd getting restless.
You know, you look at this offense and you wonder, they're going no huddle, but they're not going quick counts. They're taking the time to make sure everybody on the line. A lot of people say, why do they do that? Well, the reality is in this day and age, defenses spend so much time switching in personnel for different scenarios, not just for different personnel groups on offense, but if it's 3rd and 4, if it's 3rd and 8, you'll have a different group. So they want to make sure they keep one group on the field, maybe mismatched.
Gossett kicks it away.
No, it's a fake.
Flags down in the end zone as the football is fought for. On the fake, it was Kenny Shedd, number 84, who was there to fight with Chris Hudson and Benny Clark for the ball.
But as Shedd went up for the ball, he was shoved.
And the interference call, or apparent interference call, is going to give the Raiders a scoring opportunity.
They had Kenny Shedd split out as a flyer, one of the wide guys that are the first ones downfield to make the hit on the ball. Ball snapped directly to Jeff Gossett, who has played quarterback and is kind of an emergency quarterback for the Raiders. All he did was set up and throw deep to Shedd. but as he got back there, Vinnie Clark and the boys started shoving him around.
Gossett's had a lot of throws in his career. Here's Red Cashin.
Pass interference by the offense. Pass interference by the defense. They offset, will replay.
Oh.
Tremendous letdown for Raider fans who were celebrating the scoring opportunity. Another look.
Look at Vinnie Clark on Shed. There, Vinnie Clark pushing off, but Shed wanting to stay in position to catch the ball. Grabs onto Vinnie Clark's jersey. There's the offsetting penalties.
Kind of a picky call against Shed.
Well,
he had a little grasp, perhaps, of Clark's jersey as he pulled away.
he had a big grasp of Clark's jersey. But the reality is, you know, if you want to take this to a court of law, he wouldn't have had to grab.
15 years out of Eastern Illinois, Jeff Gossett has completed more than just a few passes, and he almost had a huge one there. This time, he does kick it. And Hudson will let it go. Bounced just a little bit too high to give the Raiders a chance to down it inbounds, so it will be a touchback. Jacksonville football out at the 20. James Trapp, number 37, was the man who leaped to try to keep it inside the goal line. Couldn't do it. Newly refurbished stadium for the Raiders. No score in the first ever meeting between Jacksonville and Oakland. Brunell and company beginning again from their 20. And let's call a halt to this one.
Well, Chester McLaughlin decided that he didn't like that somebody had set their hand and decided to move afterwards, so he jumped up and decided to claim 5 yards of his own turf.
Cashin and company with a lot of interesting discussions.
That's a gutsy. I tell you what, Chester McLaughlin.
Before the ball is snapped, encroachment. Number 91 on the defense.
5 pounds, very little fat. First down 5. Brunell's throw is dropped by Derek Brown. Greg Beekert, the middle linebacker, on coverage quickly. Kind of an NFC statement today with Green Bay pounding San Diego and Dallas taking command early against Indianapolis. Brunell is caught. Number 93, Jerry Ball.
Chased out by Anthony Smith first as he did the short little sprint out to trying to get out. And it's a good move if you.
There's a look at number 94, Smith. Brunell throws to McCardle. Did he make a one-handed grab over there? No. Couldn't quite hold on as Lorenzo Lynch was there to make the play defensively.
Boy, if that ball, and look at Tom Coughlin, he is upset. But had that ball been thrown any closer to his body just a little bit, he would have made that snag. He's definitely a go-to guy. Look at that. Great play, though, defensively. I don't know. Looking at that replay,
that's a tough call for the Jags.
He was put out of bounds by contact, had control of the ball. That should have been a completion.
Tim Brown waits at his 40-yard line. Barker kicks it away under heavy pressure. Brown calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 44. 36-yard punt. No return. 7-4. Lynch provided the momentum that threw McCardle out of bounds. On first down, Hostetler gets it to Derek Finner. And Finner, the 8-year veteran out of North Carolina, is across the Jacksonville 40 on a 17-yard pickup. Kevin Hardy makes the stop for Jacksonville, and we reiterate, Finner said this week, give me the ball. I'll do something with it. 2 catches.
Just like that. Good power out of the backfield.
Oakland and Hostetler trying to develop some continuity on offense. This their 5th possession of the game. Kaufman in the game at running back. Hostetler is down.
It's going to be holding on Lincoln Kennedy.
Number 99, Joel Smengi, is limping off for Jacksonville at this moment.
He grabbed a little shoe.
It was number 90, Tony Brackens, the rookie out of Texas, who got to Hostetler. Kenny Shedd in the game at wide receiver now for the Raiders as they go 3 wide. First down, 20 yards to go. Brackens again trying to get to Hostetler. This time they flip on the middle screen to Napoleon Kaufman, and Don Davey stays home to make the stop for the Jaguars.
Well, thank goodness Davey stayed home because everybody else was just getting off.
As you observe the AFC Central, and Cincinnati won today. Flags down, caught by Darrell Hobbs. Hobbs down the sideline, cuts back to the middle of the field and gets to the 20 before Vinnie Clark makes the stop. A 24-yard pickup for the Raiders, and let's see what the flag is. I was going to say the Bengals were the other team that almost signed Clyde Simmons.
Offside. Number 90 on the defense. That penalty is declined.
It was Brackens who jumped offside for Jacksonville. And the Raiders will
pick up. Nice run after the catch.
Raiders into the red zone. They haven't been very successful there so far this year. Hostetler down the middle. Touchdown to Brown. 19-yard TD pass. Hostetler to Brown. First time today that Tim Brown has gotten his hands on the football from scrimmage.
And a beautiful job. Nice strategy. They had everything kind of overloaded to their right. Left Tim Brown on the backside. Now you're going to see over on the right side of your screen, everything's kind of all the motion, play action going to the left side of the screen, throwing back to Tim Brown, who was able to beat Mickey Washington to the end zone.
4-play drive, 55 yards, and the Oakland Raiders suddenly come alive in the last 7 minutes of the first half. Cole Ford adds the PAT, and with 5 minutes, 46 seconds left before halftime, Jeff Hostetler has his first touchdown pass of 1996, and the Raiders have a 7-0 lead over Jacksonville. Behaving well for Oakland, fires his first touchdown pass of the season to give the Raiders a 7-0 lead. Cole Ford kicks it off. Jimmy Smith will down it in the end zone. And there's contact down there. So the Raiders try to regain their reputation as the bad boys of the league. Jacksonville off. No flag, no penalty. Jacksonville starts from its 20. Brunell giving to James Stewart. And Greg Biekert has done a pretty good job as a run stopper from his middle linebacker position for the Raiders. The fourth-year veteran out of Colorado makes the stop.
They had a great
over Brunell and the Jaguars at this point. Second down. Brunell flips to Stewart. Terrific open field tackle by number 29, Albert Lewis.
Well, they made a nice, it was a nice in
slot. 3 wide for Jacksonville. Brunell out of the gun. Third down, 7. McLaughlin chasing. Brunell lofts it, and it's almost picked off, but out of bounds. Pressure from Anthony Smith. No receiver in the neighborhood.
Well, Brunell is as good a quarterback as he is developing into. He's still.
Tim Brown coming off the 19-yard touchdown catch, waits at his 37. Barker leaps for the snap, and it kicks a high, towering punt. Brown goes all the way back to his 20. Pretty good coverage by Jacksonville. They've had some special teams problems early in the season. Not here. 56-yard punt, 7-yard return, flag down.
Well, it's back at the line of scrimmage. Tom talks a lot more. As you can see, kind of energetic getting his point across.
The reprise on the Barker punt. Big field position gain for Oakland as Brown this time takes the football and gets out of bounds at the 50. 38-yard punt, 7-yard return. Oakland in much better position after Dave Thomas forces Brown out of bounds. Well, next Sunday, NBC Sports, the NFL on NBC, next Sunday starting at 12 noon Eastern time. On first down, Harvey Williams gets the call from Hostetler. Travis Davis makes the stop for Jacksonville. Haven't seen much of Napoleon Kaufman on the field for Oakland. Haven't seen any of Natron Means on the field for Jacksonville.
And we haven't seen anything flashy in this run game yet. They've just been trying to get it up, trying to get it going, trying to just start to feel some confidence. Harvey Williams is the guy. all the people that were disappointed in the running game, I think so many wanted to put the blame on Harvey Williams. It wasn't. The injuries to the offensive line made it difficult for any kind of running game to exist. Now with an offensive line that's supposedly better, hopefully they can improve it.
On second down, with Fenner split wide from his fullback position, Hostetler gets it to Tim Brown, 14-yard gain before Davis and Washington make the stop. And Jeff Hostetler is starting to locate his longtime favorite target.
Boy, does Tim Brown have an ability to find the open spot or what? What a beautiful route he ran there. And you talk about a guy in Jeff Hostetler, the other part of the equation. We talked about it coming into this game being so important to this team. Well, he's proven his worth today.
On first down, the give to Williams, and Harvey gets outside this time for a gain of about 7. Kevin Hardy there to make the stop for Jacksonville.
Well, the last time
is that Harvey Williams has the job here that Marcus Allen might have had if he were still in silver and black. Allen runs for the Chiefs, where they ultimately gave up on Harvey. Williams' 11th carry of the game here is a short gain. Travis Davis makes the stop for Jacksonville.
They figure with some of the veterans around him, he will be able to develop well.
Third down 2. They need to get the football to the 20 for a first down. Jacksonville jamming defensively. Flags down as Hostetler delivers to Tim Brown for first down yardage.
Well, once again, it looked like Timmy Brown working up against Mickey Washington. They feel good about their safeties. They feel like they've got some pretty good guys, some coverage guys in Travis Davis, Chris Hudson. But at corner, they got some problems with guys giving too much cushion.
Bob, we have the 2-minute warning, so we'll be back in the red zone as they got a 19-yard touchdown pass from Hostetler to Tim Brown. Now it's first down at the 19. Fenner goes in motion. And the give is to Harvey Williams, and Williams has a gain of about 4 down to the 15.
Well, you said it looks like they love working the short game down here and the little fade into the corner.
Second down 6 after Williams' gain of 4. Hostetler gets away from pressure. Williams in the flat, ducks inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line before Brian Schwartz makes the stop for Jacksonville.
Yeah, he
Third down, 4 yards to go. Football at the 8-yard line. Need to get it to the 4 for a first down. Drop. And a rare droppage by Brown, who had a touchdown if he'd held on. Eddie Robinson on the coverage.
And you may say, well, the ball was thrown low. It doesn't matter with Tim Brown. You can throw the ball anywhere to Tim Brown. He sucks it all up.
That's a ball he's expecting to catch.
Exactly. Look, little short motion, little hop there, and you're going to see him just sneaking in the short zone underneath the linebackers, and you see Ricky Dudley really clearing it out for him. Brown unaffected, and the ball thrown low, and like you said, Jim, a rare drop by Tim Brown.
He can't believe it. 27-yard field goal attempt upcoming for Cole Ford. Breaking through the middle is Simmons, number 96, and the flags go down.
They get a warm-up kick for Cole Ford. Down, you have to hold still. I've seen these guys flip the balls over, do everything, but if you make any kind of a quick move that draws them off, you're going to get the flag.
32-yard field goal attempt, and with the practice kick under his belt, Ford makes the one that counts. 58 seconds left before halftime. Oakland extends the lead to 10-0 over Jackson. Deep into the end zone, Jimmy Smith with an intelligent touchdown ball, and Mark Brunell and company will start from their 20 with.
You're going to see the coverage people forcing the receivers to the sidelines and not having much coverage in the middle because they need to get to the sidelines to stop the clock. It just doesn't happen there.
Primary target today for Brunell. Second-year tight end Pete Mitchell out of Boston College. Mike Jones makes the stop after a gain of about 8. Clock is running with 44 seconds and ticking.
Gain of 8 yards. 2nd and 2.
Jimmy Smith gets away from one man, almost makes it to the sideline. Clock still running on the 19-yard gain. Rob Fredrickson finally makes the tackle.
Very good awareness.
Without a touch in the game so far, comes wide to the near side of the field. Brunell looking at Risen, now goes back the other way and releases to get away from pressure by Chester McLaughlin.
Good rush.
Backed once, but Oakland pass rush has been a factor. Anthony Smith gets to Brunell as he releases underneath the Stewart. They've got no timeouts, so this will do them little good. Clock ticking with 7, 6, and that will be,
well, the flags
go down.
Yeah.
Just about ready to call it the last play of the half, and then the little yellow flags emerged. Personal foul against Jacksonville.
Nope, doesn't help. And, you know, the thing is here, and I understand that maybe they figured nobody would expect in the middle of the field to be exploited. They figured, as I was saying, that they would utilize the sidelines. They would throw the ball
as one more shot.
An
offensive
lineman thinking clock? That much? I'm not
Can't
sure.
imagine it, yeah. He's one of your trophies. Brunell down the middle. Fight for the football, and Lewis is able to knock it away from the intended receiver, McCardle. And the Raider fans give the silver and black a thunderous ovation as, looking to break an 8-game losing streak, they leave with a 10-0 lead. Let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Going in any of their drives, and without that, they're not going to win. Without that, they're not going to get in scoring position.
Billy Joe Hobart is not without physical talents as a quarterback. Why are the Raiders so dramatically different when Hostetler plays?
To a man, they talked yesterday about his leadership. They talked about his experience, and there's those intangibles when you look at quarterbacks. Hey, they can run. Some guys can throw a country mile. I've played with them all, but there are certain guys that when they go in there, the team feels like, you know what, we're back. When a backup is starting, there is always, maybe in the back of the mind, maybe subconscious, the thought, okay, we got the backups in. We got to kind of like see if we can slug through this. This gives them a good feeling of confidence.
Cole Ford puts the foot to the football to start the second half. And Jacksonville's Jimmy Smith will bring it out, and great coverage downfield for Oakland. Smith nailed inside the 20-yard line, and Carl Kidd celebrates the hit.
As Natron means. He's got the cast on the thumb, but right now they don't have a running back that can pierce this defensive line of the Raiders.
And that's putting a lot of pressure on Brunell. And on first down, they try for some scissor action in the backfield, get the ball to the seldom used fullback Lachey Maston, and Anthony Smith is right there.
Yep, they tried to have James Stewart in motion out to distract the defense a little bit. They ran a counter Trey OT, pulling the backside guards and tackles. But it wasn't so much that the defense played well, but the handoff between Maston and the quarterback, Brunell, just not there. As you see Natron Means on the sidelines.
Didn't they tell us yesterday that Natron was going to play?
Liar.
Second down, 12 yards to go. Brunell looking deep down the sideline. Excellent coverage. Albert Lewis was all over Keenan McCardle.
And Albert Lewis taking the victory lap as he continues down the field. But, you know, you look at Albert Lewis, as we said before, we made the point. He's an older guy. He's been in the league, this is his 14th year. A lot of people thinking maybe we can pick on him, exploit him as maybe a cornerback that has lost a step or two.
Well, and you got no choice because Terry McDaniel's on the other side, perennial Pro Bowler who's virtually untouchable among cornerbacks for sheer coverage in this league.
Exactly. Now he covers McCardle on this one. He had Andre Rison in the first half, man-to-man all the way down. Beautiful coverage.
Third down and long. Brunell under pressure again. Flag goes down as Brunell gets away and fires for an apparent first down to McCardle. We'll wait and see if the flag is the likely holding call, and it is. Brian
DeMarco, number 73, a draft choice last year in the second round for the Jags, was working. They got Leon Searcy working up against what looked like Pat Swilling into the man's trying to get past them. A lot of times their offensive lineman will grab on, and it's very easy to catch as the guy gets pulled down to the ground.
I'll tell you, Anthony Smith has caught a lot of flack over the years, sometimes from his teammates, but nobody's ever solved him as a pass rusher. Third down now. 20 yards to go for the first down. Brunell dangerously in his end zone and is brought down by Andre Bruce inside the 5.
Boy, they are feeling their oats now on that defense. Look at these guys celebrating. Anthony Smith, Andre Bruce. This group, and right now, watch them. They are just running all kinds of stunts. They're shifting guys late. They're bringing guys in and out, just kind of gaming in and out.
Brian Barker in punt formation.
Pat Swilling cuts to the inside. Andre Bruce comes back around outside and makes it beautiful.
And Bruce got that sack working against Tony Boselli. And unless I miss my statistical summary here, that is only the second sack ever surrendered by Boselli in his brief NFL career. Now the flag is down as the punt traveled very deeply into Oakland territory, but the penalty is against the Jags.
Yeah, that's a good point, working up against Boselli. And this, Tony Boselli's a guy who last year I saw him preseason. Seemed like a young guy who wasn't sure how the season was going to go and everything. Saw him yesterday, talked to him for a while. Very confident. You can see that the last 2 years have been pretty kind to him. He's learned. He's had some success, enough success to make him feel confident. And these things are going to happen. Streaks like that are, they're not meant to be broken necessarily. But hey, somebody's going to line up and beat you once in a while.
Jeff Lageman, sprained knee on the defensive front for Jacksonville, will not return.
Before the snap, false start, number 41. We've got a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 37, down the field after the play. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced.
Second exciting offsetting penalty of the game.
Now 5-yarder, and it's going to be enforced for the first down.
And it's a huge break for the Jaguars, who retain the football rather than to give it up to the Raiders in what would have been excellent Oakland field position. And there's Trapp, 37, along the sideline.
And problems with him last year, Jim. A lot of people thinking that there were things that he did. Maybe they weren't the most mature moves in the world. He was taking some shots that were some personal fouls that he shouldn't have. He wasn't making proper decisions, were some of the knocks on James Trapp.
Well, he's a very inexperienced player. Now in his fourth year. Already clueless, and will be even more so with the clock turned off. Stewart finally finds some daylight. Biggest hole he's seen in the running game all day, and the second-year running back out of Tennessee has a gain of about 9 before Darren Carrington and Lorenzo Lynch make the stop.
Well, with success, and they've been playing, make no doubt about it, the Raider defensive front has been playing very well, attacking the point of it, getting into the point of attack. So aggressive now with their success that they allowed the backside to get open. When your safety starts to have to come up and make plays in the run, you're starting to get some problems, and people are breaking down.
On second down, nice cut back to the middle by Stewart, and he's alone in the secondary as he goes across midfield into Oakland territory before number 51, Lance Johnstone, made the saving tackle.
Exactly. Just what I was saying the last play. They're attacking to the front side, and it's so aggressive. You're going to start over to the left. You can stop it right here. Now he's going to break it back. Look at this hole right there. You've got a guy sealed off right there. You've got them sealed right there. That is wide open. You're getting very aggressive play to the play side, and the backside man has got to play more head up on the defender to be able to make a play in the cutback.
Combination of the penalty and Stewart's running gives Jacksonville excellent field position. Flag down in the Oakland secondary as the pass is incomplete, intended for Derek Brown. Rob Fredrickson covering.
Well, you got them matched up. You got a linebacker matched up against the tight end. A couple of guys who are a little physical. You're going to get a little pushing, probably more push and shoving than you would against the finesse guys.
And this is the kind of sequence which is all too familiar to Raider fans over the course of the past 2 years.
Holding, number 53.
Because this drive is entirely a gift.
5 yards, touchdown.
Number 54, Greg Beekert,
Yep.
the middle linebacker, called for holding.
And you're right. When you see the Raiders falter, when you look at some of these games and go, why did they lose? Many times you look at the stats and you say, look at the turnovers, look at the penalties.
First down from the 41. Lachey Maston with the football, and this time the Raiders were not fooled as Andre Bruce made the play.
Bruce, as you hear them yelling, Lachey Maston is not going to cut back. He's a guy that's going to pretty much try and pierce the line. That's what the Raiders are playing very tough right now. Watch him right there. You see number 99 as he tries to make the cutback, wraps it up, helps Greg Beekert. You got Lorenzo Lynch coming up to clean up the mess. Oh, jeez.
It was Jerry Ball, Jerry Bowling Ball, as I like to call him, who hurled his 325 pounds across the line of scrimmage.
Well, we saw Chester do it before, although he did it a little more subtly, where he stepped in and said, that guy moved. This time, Jerry Ball making the assumption that there was movement in the offensive line. One move, you're taught. Your coach is a D lineman. You go on the ball. When the ball moves, you move. Don't let them fool you.
Before the ball is snapped, false start on the offense. 5 yards, still second down.
Subtlety not a part of the ball repertoire, nor would he have wanted it to be there because he was making a statement for the officials.
And you see Chester McLaughlin talking to him a little bit, going, boy, I wish I'd done that. Yep, the center, Dave Waddell, making a little bit of a move while Burnell wasn't even really set. And Jerry Ball just going, hey, is this a sack? That's what I'd be asking. Seeing with a lot of teams now, they're doing rotation. They're getting 3 good defensive tackles or 3 good defensive ends, rotating them through and keeping them relatively fresh.
Down 15, Brunell down the middle, flag down again. It's becoming a penalty festival as Pete Mitchell has the football near the 30. Rob Fredrickson covering and making the tackle.
Well,
and here's red.
Tony Baselli is just on fire, arguing the ref, and now he's pleading this. Don't plead your case to Chester. Chester ain't going to help you. He's working up against. Now we talked to Tony yesterday.
Hands to the face, illegal use of the hands. Number 71 on the offense. 10 yards, still second down.
We talked to Tony yesterday, and he's matched up against Pat Swilling, one of the faster rushers. You're going to see here, right here, the left side of your screen, Baselli working up. They're going to come back in, and right there, stop it if you can. Right there at the end, you saw his hand up underneath the mask into the face of the defender, and he didn't seem really too concerned that he was going to have a speed rusher like that on him. He was going to try and change up his sets as to make it hard for Swilling to get a good pass rush. Blitz.
Brunell throws the football away as Albert Lewis on the corner blitz is right on him.
Well, here we're gonna do a little demonstration now.
Is this the legal holding demonstration?
Okay, no, this is the you pass rush against me.
All right.
Now, normally the offensive lineman is going to get his hands into the chest and block. As he moved past him, he got his hand up under the face mask, as you can see right there, driving it up. Now, a lot of times, when you got the force of the two bodies going together, it's hard to get the separation to get the hand out. I mean, it's going to happen, but the ref's going to find out. And I think that Tony Baselli thinks there's a gray area there. And as it being a former defensive lineman, ain't no gray area, Tony.
Thank heaven for my protective microphone. Vicious contact, but I feel fine. 3rd down, 26. And Brunell's in trouble again.
They are doing exactly what they needed to do against Brunell. Going in, they said, listen, stay on Brunell. Hurry him. Hassle him. Hit him when he's throwing the ball.
Brings up 4th down.
Chase him down, because if he's the type of quarterback, although they make the comparison to Steve Young, he will run with the ball, but he is not proficient at throwing the ball on the run.
And the Raiders are showing emotion, Bob, showing resiliency when they make mistakes, doing better things today than has been the case through this 8-game losing streak back into the middle of last year.
And I'll tell you what, winning is an infectious feeling, and right now I think these guys are infected.
Ryan Barker kicks it away. Brown waits, takes it inside his 15. Little running room across the 20, and guess what? Guess what? There are penalty flags on the field.
Yeah, we had down at the bottom of the screen, they had Danny Land working up against one of the Jags as he was, they worked in the flyer, the flyer, the guy that they split out wide, and they got tied up, and I think Dan Land started to pull him down. It looked like they may have ended up with offsetting.
Holding number 25 by the receiver.
Yep.
That penalty is declined. Holding number 35 by the receivers. Be a 10-yard penalty. First down at 10. That's a timeout.
So the first holding call was against Land. The second holding call was against Aska. They like the one against Aska better than the one against Land. We'll be back. E6, the Oakland Raiders are able to put regular starting quarterback Jeff Hostetler on the field for the first time this season. He throws a second quarter touchdown pass to favorite target Tim Brown. And the Raiders lead 10-0 now, sometime in the third period. I'm not exactly sure at which juncture we find ourselves because the scoreboard clock isn't working. Hostetler and the Raiders, 1st and 10 now. Deep in their territory, and Harvey Williams gets squelched. Brian Schwartz making the stop. Let's check in with Greg Gumbel in New York on that Dallas-Indianapolis game.
All right, Jim, the Colts have been tough. 19 unanswered points. Jim Harbaugh, an 8-yarder to Ken Dilger. It's a 22-21 Indianapolis lead on the Dallas Cowboys. They're in the third quarter. Let's send it back to Bob's hand and your face, Jim.
Jim Harbaugh, the hottest quarterback in the NFL again in early season 96, brings the Colts back. Here, the Raiders on second down. Hostetler wants to go deep. And diving for the football as it flew out of bounds was number 37 free safety Chris Hudson. James Jett was the intended target.
Well, we thought going in that Vinnie Clark at the other corner would be worked on, and they were going to go after him. They felt that he was a little soft in coverage, that he was going to give a little bit too much room, and he didn't have catch-up speed. Well, the reality is Washington has been the guy that's been had to face Jett and Brown specifically, and hasn't been having a real good day with it.
A rare penalty flag on the field as Pat Harlow appears to get an early start.
False start. Number 75, half the distance to the goal, still third down.
Well, I've got a feeling that was going to be a draw play because two of the linemen, offensive linemen, had one of the defensive linemen about 3 yards downfield. So a big indicator as to what they were going to do.
Most penalties last season, Oakland 8.4 per game. They'll threaten that today. Jacksonville, the expansion team, right there in third. There you go. Raiders have met their average at 8 penalties already. Harvey Williams with the football. Only 14 penalties in the game. Raiders play safe on third down and long, and now
well, the fans are booing, but in that situation, you get a little room. You give yourself a cushion to be able to punt the ball out. If you throw the ball, your punter's backed up. He doesn't have the room to get the ball off into a nice deep punt. Here, after that little bit of a gain, he will have the opportunity to get the full leg extension, everything, to drive the ball a little bit deeper.
Chris Hudson waiting just inside Jacksonville territory at the 47. Gossett about 6 yards deep in the end zone. Jacksonville elects to set up a return. Hudson's got room in the middle of the field. Had a 46-yarder last week against Houston. Gets into Oakland territory here with a 15-yard return of the 49-yard Gossett punt. And the Jaguars, trailing 10-0, will have excellent field position when we come back. Live and well, as he has proven today in Oakland, carrying the Raiders to a 10-0 third period lead. But here's a great opportunity for Jacksonville as the Jaguars start a possession at the Oakland 42. And on first down, Andre Rison's first catch of the day on the throw from Brunell, and Natron Means has come on the field finally to play for Jacksonville. So number 20 makes his first appearance in a regular season game for the Jaguars, and it's only a matter of time, you have to assume, before he'll make that first carry, and we'll begin to see if the Jaguars can generate a power running game.
As big as that offensive line for the Jaguars is, they need an experienced runner to pierce that's the front.
And pierce it he
right
does.
There.
Yep. Inside the 25 to the 23, Lorenzo Lynch on the stop. 12 yards for Means on his first carry. Where has he been up to now?
And the funny thing is, you're going to watch him here running. He didn't even power. They bring him in. He's a power runner. He makes a nice little cut, finds a big old gap right up the middle, and does basically what I think a lot of people expect James Stewart to do.
Well, you talk about Tom Coughlin's discipline and emphasis on conditioning. Natron looks skinny. I mean, this is a guy who has been as high as 270, 280 in the offseason.
Hey, you break your thumb, it's hard to hold a fork. That whole opposing digit thing.
Makes sense. I guess he's been eating through a straw, huh?
But he has, and we talked to the guys in San Diego a little bit, and the change from then until now, it almost has been like a wake-up call for him, where I think a lot of people, sometimes when you're young, you're thrown into a situation, a lot of notoriety. Maybe you need a wake-up call sometimes to start taking some things serious. He's worked really hard at getting in shape this year.
Give to Natron with 3 wide receivers split to the right, but the Raiders aren't fooled, and you got to get some big push up front to get McLaughlin out of the way. Here's Swilling and Anthony Smith. They're both able to get there along with Mike Jones.
And unfortunately, the worst thing that could have happened for the Jacksonville Jaguars is that Natron made a nice run on the first play of his first carry by making a little juke move. Because the reality now is he's lining up thinking he can juke, thinking he can make the little move inside, where he should be lining up, putting the head down, and just running people over. They've got to start getting the Raider defense on their heels. If they don't, they're not going to get any kind of yardage.
Nate goes back to the sideline, 4 wide as Jacksonville tries to make a play on 3rd down. Risen with his second catch. He's short of the first down marker as he gets to the 16-yard line. So will Coughlin and company settle for a field goal try, or will they test the Raider defense on 4th and short?
Well, at this point, you go for the field goal. You got to go for the field goal because, you got to get the points.
Mike Hollis comes onto the field. Brian Barker, the punter, holds. Dave Weddell, the veteran center, is the snapper.
Well, psychologically, this is going to mean a lot to them. Granted, that was the best starting position for them the whole game, so they didn't drive that far to get themselves to this scoring position. But still, points on the board does a lot to uplift a team, especially when the other team's sitting just a few points away in striking distance.
Raiders elect to call a timeout. Hollis missed a 31-yarder against Houston last week. This will be a 30. Hollis's 33-yard field goal try. Out of Barker's hold with Weddell snapping. And the Oakland faithful attempting to wreak havoc with his concentration. Hollis knocks it through. 4 out of 5 on the year. Jaguars get on the board. They trail 10-3 late in the 3rd. Quarter from Jeff Hostetler making his first start of the year. Favorite target Tim Brown. 4:37 now remaining in the 3rd period, though the players don't know it because the scoreboard clock isn't working for now. Hollis kicks it off for Jacksonville. Kaufman will watch the ball go out of bounds. So the flag flies along the sideline. And red cashing.
The receiver's ball at the 40-yard line.
Let's go to New York and check in with Greg real fast. Emmitt Smith, 18 carries for 73 yards, as you saw there. Harbaugh having another brilliant day for Indianapolis. Greg will keep you posted on that one as the Raiders start offensively. And Hostetler completes to Tim Brown. Aren't too many receivers as good at coming back for the ball as Tim.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And we talked about it going into this game. We watched him work on Mickey Washington on the one side. Look at Vinnie Clark at the top of your screen. Look how much cushion, how much respect he has for Tim Brown. And Tim Brown's not even their speed receiver, but Vinnie Clark, way too soft, way too much room. I don't know if he was expecting help underneath from the linebackers, but Tim Brown, that was just a throw and catch for him and Hostetler.
Brown 3rd in the AFC in number of catches coming into the game behind Tony Martin and Keenan McCardle. He's heating up a little bit. Kaufman, looking toward a big hole, is tripped as he gets to the line of scrimmage. John Yurkovich will get credit for the tackle.
I say nice defensive technique by John Yurkovich. And if you can't grab the guy, there's so much grabbing and pulling in there. If you can't get the hit, you're going to see right there the trip going on. And, hey, when a guy's coming through your area, you do whatever you can to stop him. And, I don't know. There is.
I don't even know if he knew he was there. He had his back turned to the play.
He knew.
He knew.
He knew. You can feel the guy there.
Because you played that nose tackle position. Yeah. And there's Kaufman. Spectacularly quick feet for the second-year runner out of Washington. He's finally knocked out of bounds by free safety Chris Hudson after a 33-yard gain.
And they have waited for Nat Kaufman to get in. We saw this kid yesterday. First, he's got some guns. Hey, what's the holding inside right there? As you saw that, now Kaufman gets around that. Nice acceleration to the outside. And, it's not that he's any faster, but he certainly showed some acceleration there. I think he caught the defense a little flat-footed. You have to be able to gauge the speed of these guys, and not seeing him much. Now watch here in the middle. You see John Jurkovec down now. If you can see inside, you just see the linebacker play. Jurkovec is going to come in the screen. He gets pulled down, but look at the acceleration as he makes the little dip and just heads for the outside. Everybody bet they're not used to playing against him, so they haven't really gauged his speed and acceleration yet.
The rookie Tony Brackens, number 90 out of Texas, who had 4.5 sacks in preseason and has found the going a little bit tougher in the regular season, stepped up, over-penetrated. Kaufman found that lane, and now Jurkovec walking off under his own power. He became a national
zone, but it's certainly, if you're going to protect other players, I don't care if you're 350 pounds, you're running the back of your knees is a vulnerable spot, which can cause serious and permanent damage.
Well, particularly when the guy makes an effort to roll up you, as was the case there. Derek Finner with a short gain for the Raiders.
Well, the Raiders have basically answered, said, okay, you're putting in Natron. Okay, let's get our chess piece out. Let's try some changes here.
You have a power back from North Carolina in Natron Means. We'll show you our power back of slightly older vintage from North Carolina, exactly. Derek Finner.
And Derek Finner knows what his running style is. I think Natron sometimes tries to get a little fancy with the footwork. Derek Finner will go in and pound you.
Second and goal. Chance for the Raiders to take a commanding lead. Down to the 1-yard line goes Harvey Williams. Kevin Hardy makes the stop for Jacksonville. Raiders looking for a rare rushing touchdown.
And if you don't think these guys are fired up, then you don't see this happening. Look at the intensity. Look at how hard Harvey Williams is running here. Look at this. He's taking it on. He's fighting for the extra yardage.
Raiders bring the jumbo package. Jerry Ball, 325 pounds worth of him, will line up as the blocking back in front of Williams on third down goal inside the 1. Glover in motion. Williams running behind Ball. Tremendous penetration at the line of scrimmage by the Jaguars. Was it a fumble? Ernie Logan made the first hit. White jerseys came out with the ball. Could be that the scoring threat was blunted. Officials are attempting to determine, and they do. Huge play by the Jaguar defense.
Huge play. This was the opportunity. Watch here inside. Just to dive inside. Good penetration up front. We can't see where the ball came out, but enough guys getting shots on him where somebody knocked that ball loose.
So a team defensive effort at the goal line keeps Jacksonville in the game.
With the penetration. Travis Davis right there. The ball pops loose. And Tony Brackens comes up with a recovery.
And on first down from near their goal line, the Jaguars give to their brand new power running back, Natron Means. Means, who did not enter the game until one series ago here in the third quarter. And you look at the turnovers in the football game, a Vinnie Clark interception, and now the recovered fumble by Brackens. And you can see that in the 8-game losing streak, the turnover ratio has been minus 13.
An amazing turnaround. Those numbers so dramatic.
3-yard gain by Means on first down. Now Brunell throws on second down. And a well-thrown ball to Rison on the slant. gets them a first down, an 11-yard gain, and some working room out at their own 15.
Well,
1 minute left in the third.
It hasn't been pretty so far. They haven't really gained a rhythm. If they're going to do it, it's going to be the short passing game. The Raiders know that they've got to get off to Brunell. Brunell's got to take the 3-step drop, the quick 5-stepper, and get the ball out to guys like Rison.
Jaguars have to feel somewhat fortunate to find themselves still in the game. Means getting his first taste of regular season action, and
well, one of the hesitations I had with Natron was the fact that after the torn ligaments in the thumb, they were going to have to put a cast on it to hold it in place, and the ability to handle the ball, to take a helmet on a hit right on the ball, and not maybe having the grasping ability.
All those things were questions, weren't they?
Yeah.
Beautiful. End of the third quarter. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Board inside the stadium. The clock doesn't work, so the announcers and players don't know exactly at what juncture we are in the game. But we know now that this will be the first play of the fourth quarter as Mark Brunell and the Jaguars try to move, trailing 10-3 to Oakland. Wide open. Caught.
Wow.
Out of bounds. No flags. Keenan McCardle with a big play for the Jaguars, and for the first time all day, Brunell gets away from pressure and finds something downfield. They beat Terry McDaniel.
But watch the happy feet here. He's anticipating the pressure. Boy, for the start of that play being so bad, he certainly turned it into something good. And Keenan McCardle being on the receiving end of that ball certainly helped him out dramatically, since he has got such reliable hands.
Great hands and terrific feet along the sideline. That was a 46-yard gain. Now Natron Means. Means running on the baseball infield portion of the stadium here in Oakland, unable to gain purchase, knocked down by Lorenzo Lynch after a gain of maybe a yard.
Yeah, sometimes those infield's affected, but I think there was enough rain this morning that it softened it up. They should be able to get some footing. But yeah, Natron probably hoping he could get that first play back again and find that magic that he had in the very first play, his play from scrimmage, because ever since then they have found a way to lock him up.
First carry was for 12 yards. The last 4 carries have gotten 2 yards. Second down 9. Brunell, slant, caught. McDaniel working against McCardle, but again, McCardle puts his body between McDaniel and the ball and makes the catch.
Oh, they've been working over to Albert Lewis's side most of the day, and you touched on that point before. Why you certainly would do that because of T-Mac back on the right side of the field. Well, that time they figured McCardle is doing pretty well. He's got some rhythm going. He's making some catches, and why not put him up against Terry McDaniel? So Terry McDaniel normally is a little bit closer to that slant play when the catch is made.
Lewis out of the game for the moment. Larry Brown playing on this possession. Number 52, Mike Jones, with a perfect read from outside linebacker, stops the Jaguars.
And I'll tell you what, Mike Jones is definitely glad that Natron Means has dropped a little weight too, because the old Natron would have hurt a little bit more. But great read, and look at the penetration. That's what you want in a linebacker. As a defensive lineman, you sit up front, you take on double teams, you make piles, and you hope that those linebackers come up and clean up. Sometimes when the tackle's made 5 yards downfield, you go, hey, where are you guys?
So they lost a yard on 3rd and 2. They'll go for the first down on 4th and 3.
Oh.
And Brunell overthrows a wide open Andre Rison. It was there for him. And the scouting report on Brunell said he'll make a couple bad throws a game. That was one of them right there, and it cost the Jaguars dearly. Early 4th quarter, Raiders still lead. Jaguars lamenting their failure to convert on 4th down 3 when Mark Brunell missed an open Andre Rison underneath with what would have been first down yardage. Jeff Hostetler, play fake first down, wants to go deep. Down the sideline, second interception of the game. No. Chris Hudson with the football, not Vinnie Clark. It's the second interception of the game for the Jaguars. The first for Chris Hudson. And Jacksonville gets the ball back immediately in excellent field position. And that was a rusty read by Hostetler.
You know, I was about to tell them that they certainly shouldn't have gone for it on 4th again, but here they get the ball right back. Watch him give Timmy Brown a little bit of room here, and but Hudson coming over the top really makes a nice play on the ball. And I'll tell you what, that's great awareness by Hudson, because a lot of times as a safety, you come up and you're assuming that you're helping out to make the play on the receiver. He saw the ball coming the whole way. You saw him going, making the play on the ball, not on the receiver like some guys just want to go and wipe out the receiver. He saw the ball, made the play.
So the Raiders have it for one play. The Hostetler interception to Mark Hudson. Now Brunell gets it back. He wants to go deep and is pulled down by Nolan Harrison, number 74.
Great coverage. Now that's what you call a coverage sack.
Yeah, because Harrison is known mostly as a run stopper.
Right.
And is in there on first down to stop the run and winds up with a sack.
Exactly. Well, he gets good push. He's a tall guy that plays high sometimes, but he I'll tell you what, he is a force. He got some pressure up inside, and Brunell was looking to dump that ball off. His deep guys were covered. He was looking to dump it to Natron Means right over the middle, but Mike Jones had a man-to-man standing right next to him. Natron didn't even try and get free, and he had to eat it.
Second down long after the sack. Brunell throws to Pete Mitchell. Mitchell is dragged down. Good open field tackle by Darren Carrington, the free safety, number 21, a former Jaguar himself.
Well, it was second and way long. They pick up about 4 or 5 yards. You'd think that their choice of plays would be a little bit more sound. I'm not a coach, but you know, when you got a lot of yardage, you want to pick up more than 3 or 4 at a time when you need 17.
You know, there's practically nothing working on the scoreboard here, Bob. For a while, balls and strikes were working. Well, now they're back. Balls and outs are working. 3 balls, 3 outs. Kind of irrelevant to this game, but just nice to see something flashing up there on the scoreboard. 3rd down, 14 for Jacksonville. Plenty of time for Brunell. Good delivery down the middle. Raiders signaling an incompletion, but I think they're going to credit the catch to number 80, Willie Jackson. Jackson earlier had been poked in the eye on the opening kickoff of the second half, but has since come back in, as you see there. And
well, they're arguing over possession right now. Coughlin wants to know what time, how much time's left here.
So do I.
They're arguing over here over possession of the ball. You saw Lewis come in late to make the play, but now they're arguing over where did the ball come out as the body hit the ground. Did Albert Lewis knock the ball loose as he made contact with the receiver? That's what the argument is.
He's going to get credit for the catch, but he's going to be short of the first down. And indeed, it will be 4th down, 2.5 yards to go. They spot the ball right on the midfield stripe. And now the Raiders hustle to get the right defensive personnel onto the field as the Jaguars go into punt formation.
Well, not that it helps them point-wise, but at least field possession-wise, they've certainly helped themselves out dramatically, having started the last series from about the 1-yard line.
So now Barker's punt rolls through the end zone. The Raiders will start at their 20-yard line. We are early in the 4th quarter. We don't know exactly how much time is left, but the Raiders lead 10-3. Raiders pulling out all the stops today in terms of fan support. Huh?
I was going to say, a lot of people want to know what Al Davis wears during the game.
Give us to Napoleon Kaufman as we bring you back to Oakland. The Raiders protecting a 10-3 lead. Travis Davis makes the stop for Jacksonville.
Okay, I'm sorry. On a day when the sun's out and it's kind of warm, you're going to want to wear something reflective like white.
It's not about good and evil? That was a question.
Okay, I'm thinking.
Are you sure it's not about good and evil? 2nd down, 5 for the Raiders after the 5-yard pickup on 1st down. Napoleon Kaufman again. And Kaufman's quick feet allow him to squirt forward for 1st down yardage to the 30.
You know what? And this is going to do nothing but strengthen the calls for Napoleon Kaufman as a more getting more coverage, getting more running time. The reality is Harvey Williams has done a pretty good job today. He has slugged it out through some tough conditions. And now, as I said before, the Jaguars aren't used to seeing Napoleon Kaufman. They don't know Knapp's style yet. They don't know what he's going to do. They've watched him on film. They don't know his acceleration in firsthand, in-person kind of experience. So once they figure that out, you know, it's going to be rough on him too.
Kaufman came in averaging 5.9 yards per carry in the first 2 games. He's averaging 10 today. Gets a pickup of about 4 here before Hudson makes the stop.
And nice job by Knapp that time, getting a little bit extra yardage. They were bringing everybody, had some of their backers up on the outside to add a little pressure, try and occupy all the holes. Watch here down to the bottom. You see Hardy with the rush. Gogan with a nice block, sealing to the outside. If it wasn't for a good play by Schwartz coming up at the inside, Napoleon Kaufman would have bounced after the outside for a serious gain.
With the prize rookie linebacker Hardy lined up on the strong side, Oakland's game plan is to give him a lot of defensive looks and try to confuse him. 2nd down 6. Hostetler throws underneath. Complete to Brown. Short of the 1st down as Vinnie Clark makes the stop.
And good job with the play action too. Right now with what Napoleon Kaufman has been doing in the running game, that defense has to respect any kind of motion that looks like it's going to be a running attack.
Controlled day by Hostetler. A couple of bad reads producing the 2 interceptions. The 1 touchdown pass to Tim Brown, 19 yards midway 2nd quarter, is the difference in the football game. Harvey Williams comes back onto the field to tailback as the Raiders face 3rd down, 2 yards to go. Football at the 38. First down yardage. James Jett on the receiving end of the Hostetler throw, and Mickey Washington made the stop, but right now Jeff is just taking what Coughlin's defense will give him.
Exactly, and a lot of that completion goes to the offensive line too. The protection up front was great. They had the defense shut down. Even the outside speed rushers were kind of locked in place. You see Kevin Gogan right there, but Mickey Washington once again on James Jett. A lot closer in coverage that time, but still the same result.
Again, scoreboard clock not working. No clocks available in the stadium for fans or players to know how much time is remaining in the game. That information coming from the officials verbally. Knapp Kaufman bounces outside, has a gain of maybe a couple as the Raiders try to put together a long possession and run some time off the invisible clock.
The invisible clock. And that's it, because right now the Jaguars, you got to remember, offensively, although their game plan has been a bit conservative, you haven't seen them break any big plays yet. They certainly have a weapon in Andre Rison, who, if not a little inconsistent, has big playability, and they just want to keep the ball out of that offense's hands.
Many thought that Raider coach Mike White was taking a calculated gamble today and allowing Jeff Hostetler to play. Some believing that Hostetler is not fully mended from the knee injury. Here he is able to deliver the football away from the blitz, and that'll be an intentional grounding call.
Well, they blitzed it. They brought Paul Fraze on the outside. They brought Brian Schwartz right at the middle with a fairly dramatic pickup in the blocking scheme. But Hostetler, he saw a receiver, and I want to say it was Joe Aska out in the flat. I'd have to look at it again. He saw him out in that general area, kind of flipped it out there thinking he'd be safe, but the referee didn't buy it.
Intentional grounding, number 15, 10 yards, loss of a down.
Yeah, see, you got Joe Aska, 35, just out in the flat. Here, he threw it out in the general vicinity. The ball lands about here. Aska's way out there. Kind of a judgment call by the referees, but I don't think he was. I don't think he was attempting really to get it to him. He was trying to make it look like an attempt. Not very convincingly.
I've just been told that there are 6 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in the game. Be a kind of a fun exercise, I'm sure, to get your stopwatch out at home now. And using your intimate knowledge of NFL rules, attempt to work your own clock from here to the end of the game, and you'll know how much time is remaining.
Well, thank you, Mr. Wizard.
Hostetler loses the snap, falls on top of it. This possession beginning to fall apart for the Raiders, and in fact, Jeff Gossett comes on to kick it away. Plenty of time for the Jaguars, still trailing only by a touchdown.
Well, let's take a look, and there it is, the connection between Barrett Robbins, who they have put in as second-year man out of TCU at center. A lot of people thought Dan Turk, who stepped in, he's about a 10, 11-year guy, stepped in for Don Mosbar when he had the eye injury last year. Thought Turk would be the guy to kind of inherit the position.
Most notably Dan Turk.
Exactly. And Dan Turk, most notably, one of the most outspoken when Barrett Robbins got the job.
Flags go down as Gossett unleashes a punt. Hudson moves up to make the fair catch at the 34-yard line. 34-yard punt. Raiders moving toward that double figure in penalties.
No preliminary call yet. Here we go.
Up this one against Jacksonville. That'll give Gossett a chance to get another punt, and
which he would definitely take.
34 is not a good number for Jeff.
He has at this point left them in pretty good field position. Goodness for him, you can see the displeasure in Tom Coughlin.
Lined up in the neutral zone. Number 27 on the defense. 5 yards, still fourth
Denny
down.
Clark.
Well, anybody who in the scouting report said that he plays too loose and too soft certainly wasn't talking about his alignment.
No, because this is the second one he's gotten today.
It really is. And you got to give these guys some credit. I mean, when you're that far.
Packers arrived in Jacksonville as a free agent last year. Gossett's second try at pinning the Jaguars, and this one not much better than the first, and Hudson makes another professional fair catch, this time at his 28-yard line. 37-yard punt and a gain of about 8 yards in field position for Oakland. They lead 10-3. We'll be back. We bring it back to Oakland. 5 minutes, 53 seconds remaining in the game. And I have to imagine that the players have that information from the officials on the field. It's not on the scoreboard. Brunell comes out of the pile and is hit as he goes out of bounds, and the flag will fly. And that is, in the worst sense of the word, a Raider penalty. Jerry Ball was the man who put the initial pressure on Brunell.
And we're not talking just about penalties here. We're talking about ill-advised penalties. There's a time where you can have aggressive penalties. But an aggressive penalty, look, as he was a full step and a half out of bounds, an aggressive penalty at a time like this, no coach is going to stand for.
Well, particularly when it comes from a 7-year veteran who ought to know better.
Yeah. Well, and I understand the whole adrenaline thing, but my God, you've got to keep your mind focused on what's important.
54, first down.
Now they call it on Beekert, 54. He was there, but I think Anthony Smith actually got the first push in.
Yeah, they want to get to the guy. They want to drag him down, and I'm sure they want to keep him in bounds, try and keep the clock running. But they've got to know at that point when they've got to know where they are to the sidelines. When they get that close, there's no way you're going to stop them from going out of bounds.
Let's check it out again. There's Ball. There's Anthony Smith making that push. Beekert is really the last one there.
If Beekert got the penalty, then that was a rip, because he didn't hardly make contact.
Yeah, it was Anthony. On first down, Natron is dumped in the Jacksonville backfield by Lorenzo Lynch and Jerry Ball. And this is interesting. We wait until midway to the third period before we ever see Natron Means on the field, and now he's on the field for every series. 7 carries, 9 yards.
And they're just attacking and penetrating the gaps up inside that he doesn't have any chance at all to get his feet going and get any kind of aggressive attack going in the forward motion. You see him always kind of pussyfooting, kind of sidestepping, and that's not his style of running.
And that's because of Chester McLaughlin and Jerry Ball and their ability to jam the middle for the Raiders. Now Brunell operates out of the shotgun on second down long. Gets it to McCardle. McCardle's got nowhere to go. And Swilling working against Dave Waddell, and
Dave Waddell. It's a guy I've played against for a number of years, and as much as I like him as a guy,
he's one of your many trophies.
He is no innocent.
Oh, really? You mean that Dave has been known to engage in extracurricular activity?
When he played in Denver with his brother Doug Waddell, it was, hey, you can't do that to my brother. It was like they gang up on you.
Third down. 6 yards to go for a Jacksonville first down. Crowd tries to lift the Raider defense, and Brunell makes a terrific throw to Jimmy Smith for 14 yards and a first down. Larry Brown makes the stop. The Jaguars are in Raider territory.
First and 10, the 36-yard line. Creating a 14 on the play.
We welcome those of you who have watched the Indianapolis Colts upend the Dallas Cowboys 25-24. You are in Oakland, where the Jacksonville Jaguars, with Lachey Maston carrying the football there, are operating in Raider territory, trailing 10-3 in the fourth quarter. Raiders trying to snap an 8-game losing streak that stretches back to midseason last year. Jeff Hostetler threw this touchdown pass midway in the second quarter to Tim Brown, a 19-yarder. Hostetler's first touchdown pass of the year, and this his first start of 1996. And that, to this moment, is the difference in the football game. A game marred by penalty.
Brian tied up.
Second down 5. Football at the 31-yard line. 3 minutes 7 seconds left in the game, though the players may not know that, and the fans certainly don't. Flags down again in this multiple penalty game. Jimmy Smith in the end zone can't get to the ball as it's knocked away by Terry McDaniel.
You want Terry McDaniel covering in a situation like that. What great anticipation. You see the timing and how he left the ground. He knew he had to get up to make a play on the ball, but the timing on the ball, impeccable. And also, it looks like they're going to call defensively, there may have been movement. No, I think they got somebody on the Jags jumping.
Illegal
you've got a bunch of
by the offense. Number 71 was not on the line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined. It's third down.
Once the ball is thrown, they know it. They get away from the receiver. They can care less about where the receiver is. They're going to go up and make the play on the ball like T-Mac did right there.
36 is more than a good corner. He's a perennial Pro Bowler. You see that the Jaguars are 1 of 12 on third downs, and here they almost have the conversion, but Smith drops the football. Larry Brown was there to cover for the Raiders.
Well, was it a good investment that Larry Brown brought in after being the Super Bowl MVP?
It was on this play.
And let's watch it right here. Is it a completion? He brought it in. Nope.
Never had full possession of the football.
Had a good grab with the hands, but as he tried to tuck it away, he was not in control.
Fourth down 5, inside 3 minutes. Jaguars will go for it. Pete Mitchell in motion, the tight end. Brunell fires down the middle and has a completion, but it may be short of the first down. Argument over the spot of the ball upcoming. Brown was there again on the coverage.
Man, this is, and I'll tell you what.
This is a huge spot.
This is a huge spot, and this is something players don't want to leave it up to a referee to decide where that ball should be placed. You're going to see some negotiating out there by both sides. And I'll tell you what, as far as the choice goes for Mark Brunell, and he is going to be a good quarterback as he keeps developing. He's got the confidence, he's got the throw. But his choice of receiver is a double-covered receiver underneath, and he had to know that he was very, very close to not making the first down.
I'm not even certain who made the catch. The coverage was so good. Was it Rison, 81, or
think
McCardle, 87? I think it was Andre.
I think it was Andre, but Larry Brown, once again, was all over him.
Well, this is a huge spot, and if Andre stretched the ball far enough to maintain possession for Jacksonville, he will have made his biggest play so far in a Jaguar uniform. It is a first down for Jacksonville.
Oh, man.
Living right for the moment.
Jim, and this, I don't know if this is a big play, Jim, or if this is just a big spot. I think it was a poor choice of receivers when it comes to finding a guy. He was double covered, dumps it off, but the spot, obviously, very, very pro-Jaguar. The best spot that they could make as a referee.
Again, no scoreboard clock. Fans totally in the dark as to the time remaining in the game. They can only guess. Blitz. Oh! Jerry Ball! No flags. 69-yard touchdown for Jerry Ball. It was Rob Fredrickson who knocked the football into the air out of Brunell's hands and created the Raider touchdown opportunity.
Oh my God. Well, there are some, right now, Tony Baselli, I think that there's some things going on extracurricular.
Yeah, Boselli and McLaughlin had an intense conversation at midfield. Mike White, the Raider head coach, is furious about that. And at the opposite end, Jerry Ball is celebrating a huge defensive takeaway touchdown.
Did you see? Tony Baselli was chasing Chester McLaughlin off the field till the referees grabbed him, but that's the way that the Raider defense has played pretty much from the middle of the second quarter on, mostly in the second half. Very aggressive. They come with a blitz. They did a nice job of picking up the safety blitz, but the reality is you got to get them all. Fredrickson comes through and makes a great play on Brunell.
Cole Ford's PAT is up and good, and on their second touchdown of the day, this one a 69-yard run with a pickoff by Jerry Ball. The Raiders lead 17-3. There's the play by Fredrickson, who hit Brunell's arm to knock the football up into the air. They used Jerry Ball as an offensive back in some formations. That's what gave him the mentality for this 69-yard jaunt. Oakland, Cole Ford kicks it off. Kendrick Bullard, a brand new pickup for the Jacksonville Jaguars this week, is wrestled down as he gets across the 25. Jerry Ball, the 10-year veteran out of SMU.
Now they're blitzing from the right. They pick up the back. Fredrickson comes through, gets his arm on Brunell just as he tries to advance the ball. And here you got Jerry Ball. Boy, he got some air too. We didn't know he had that kind of vertical. Look at the strides here. His legs are as long as mine.
There's your new fullback, Jerry Ball. 2-minute warning in Oakland. We'll be back. Sit. 2 minutes remaining in Oakland. Actually, they're telling us that there are 2 minutes 3 seconds remaining, but they elected to go with the 2-minute warning anyway. No scoreboard clock operating in the Oakland Coliseum, and it's been that way now for most of the second half. Here's a reminder that following the game on most of these stations, it's an all-new Dateline Sunday. Then it's must-see TV with Third Rock from the Sun and Boston Common in their new Sunday night slots. Viewers on the West Coast will see those programs at their regularly scheduled times. Oakland Raiders are on the verge of snapping an 8-game losing streak that went back into the middle of last season. And there's the man who knocked the football out of Mark Brunell's hands. Terrific outside linebacker Rob Fredrickson of the Raiders.
He was our first rounder back in '94, and a lot of people said, well, you know, doesn't look like he's a total impact player right off the bat. But right away, he became a player that contributed and has gotten better and better.
On first down, Brunell's throw is a battle for possession, and it's going to be Raider ball. Albert Lewis.
Boy, has he had a game today or what?
He's been tremendous. 35 years old, 14th year in the league, won't give up his starting job to the high-priced free agent acquisition, Larry Brown. And here Lewis shows you why he says, I can still play. And now, here's the 2-minute warning again. This is the real one. As we bring it back to Oakland, the Raiders begin to try to run off the last 2 minutes on the clock. Reserve fullback Joe Aska with the carry there. You look at a chagrined Mark Brunell on the sideline. Jaguars made their first trip ever to the West Coast. Albert Lewis's interception appears to have wrapped this one up for Oakland.
Well, the rumors of Albert Lewis's demise have been greatly exaggerated. They talked about him going into his 14th year, playing cornerback. Usually by then, cornerbacks, the guys who are the speedy guys, the guys who can play man-to-man, are the ones that usually at that point, if they still play, get bumped into safety. Somewhere they don't have to play the man-to-man as much. and has had an opportunity to keep playing. Had a great game. The interception, covering.
It's no shame for Larry Brown not to be able to beat that guy out.
Not at all. Has covered Andre Rison man-to-man, Keenan McCardle man-to-man.
Aska again gets the call, and Aska shows a little speed around the corner as he gets it outside and moves apparently for a first down. That'll stop the clock, and we're told that there's about a minute and a half remaining in the game. We emphasize, once again, scoreboard Hostetler making a successful return. He's like a good luck charm for the Raiders. When he plays, they win. Flags down.
But you make a good point, and you don't want to put it on one guy.
Attempt to make the invisible clock run. The give is to Derek Fenner, and Fenner stretches across the 30. White and the franchise.
Yeah, and now they're going to fall on the ball and just kind of let it run out. As you see, one of the players kind of like sitting back and making sure the ball doesn't come loose.
And as Mike White hopes for the invisible clock to roll, the MetLife blimp Snoopy 2 provides a running out. Mike White and the Raiders operating without a scoreboard clock for most of the second half. Nevertheless, make enough of the right decisions and moves to beat Jacksonville 17-3.